Imagine landing at JKIA on a hot Saturday afternoon. You are excited to be back home after many years of chasing the American dream. But this time, you're not just coming home as a visitor, you're actually going to your own house. So you step out of the airport, the sun hits your face, you order a cab, and you tell the driver to take you straight to the destination, which is your home. Once you get there, you realize there's nothing going on. There's only a bunch of goats grazing. There is no building, there's no construction going on, literally nothing. And probably the land is not even in your name. That is the story of our client James, who has given us permission to share his story to be a cautionary tale to Kenyans living in the diaspora and who are trying to construct homes back here. James won a green card a few years ago and moved to the US. While there, he was really working hard. 2 jobs, night shifts, long weekends, the kind of hustle that nobody really tells you about. And he was doing all this to build a better life for himself, the kind of life that he could not get in Kenya. And back here, he had left his ailing mother. And he kept sending money for support. At one point, James decided that he wanted to build a house back here. And you know that is the dream of many Kenyans who move abroad. They want to build a better home for themselves back at home. So James realized that he could not task his mother with this kind of heavy construction work. So he contacted his cousin Francis back here in Nairobi and asked Francis to find an ideal land for him, gave him the budget that he had for this project. Francis kept in touch with James, telling him what he had done, telling him that he had in fact secured a piece of land that would be ideal for the kind of house that James wanted, the perfect location. Eventually, as James kept sending money back home, Francis gave updates of what was going on the project, kept sending James photos, showing him that now they had set up the foundation for the house, kept sending photos, showing him the fundis at the site, the masons, and literally keeping James updated on the progress of the house. Eventually, James asked to be sent the papers for the land, and Francis kept giving excuses. Oh, we are still finalizing with the lawyers. Oh, we shall transfer the property to you eventually when the construction is done. It felt a bit funny, but James, this was his long-term cousin. They grew up together. They were more like brothers. So he trusted each and everything that Francis kept telling him. So in total, from his estimation, James had sent Francis about 15 million Kenyan shillings. And by Kenyan standards, that would be a moderately nice, bungalow. Anyway, the return happened. And here was James back home at the site and literally nothing going on. Upon this realization, James tried to call Francis. He called 3 times and his phone went unanswered. Eventually, the phone started saying line busy, and after that, his number was blocked. It was no longer going through. He stood there, his stomach sank. He was in shock. He literally broke into a sweat, wondering whether this was actually happening. In fact, for a moment, he thought that this was just a bad dream or he was at a wrong location. Eventually, he came to us and asked us to conduct a search on that land just to be sure that the land was in his name. Unfortunately, the search results came out negative. The land was not in his name. In fact, the photos that were being sent to him as construction photos from that site were from an entirely different construction. We reported the matter to the police, and when the police tried looking for Francis, they actually realized that he had crossed the border to Tanzania. In fact, his last phone signal placed him around Namanga. And that is when reality sank in for James that he had lost his money. This was actually a scam. His many years of hard work and sacrifice had gone just like that, down the drain. And what happened to James is not rare. That is the story of many Kenyans living and working in the diaspora. But what can we learn from this story? What happened to James does not happen to people because they're careless or uneducated. It happens to people because they replace processes with trust. They replace verification with emotion, and being far away like that makes it easy for people to take advantage of them. They rely on updates, which sometimes are not true. If you're buying or building property in Kenya, you must separate relationships from responsibility. Even when you trust someone, you must ensure that the process is structured. And this might look like having a law firm's client's account where you safely transfer your money to Kenya. You can also have an independent firm of professionals who will properly and securely deliver your project. You must document everything, and particularly the money that you send here, and just ensure that everything is verifiable. Work with professionals and not just someone close to you. And before you begin anything, do your due diligence and keep doing due diligence throughout, because what you don't verify could cost you everything. All your life savings could go down the drain in a blink of an eye. James's story does not end up with a house, but it ends up with a life lesson that many people learn too late. If you're in the diaspora and you plan to invest in property back at home, check the comment section. We have pinned a free property guide on how to safely buy property in Kenya. Please share this with a loved one who really needs to see it. If you like this kind of content, leave a thumbs up, leave your comments in the comment section. We'll be sure to get back to you if you have any questions, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.